Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I have an article that I think is a lot of BS. Not the article itself, but the statements made by the people that the article talk about. And that is actually an article where we have the British intelligence. Remember those ones who I think they found the weapons of Saddam's weapons of mass destruction, I think, and that's what the article is all about. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. It's about another prediction that they are going to be right about. This article comes from Ukrinform from today, the 7th of November 2022. This is the title. Russia unlikely to achieve air superiority in war in Ukraine in coming months. British intelligence. Okay, well, when we make statements, we would like to see the evidence. All right? Or at least if you make a prediction, which I think this is not a prediction, it's a prediction, but it's an assessment. All right? And you make it as a prediction, I would like to see the compelling evidence that might lead us to believe you, which from the get-go, I don't believe shit these guys are talking about, okay? Because of that, and not only. And I'm going on with this little article here. It is unlikely that you have 50%, yes or no. So when you say unlikely, all right, that Russia will gain air superiority in the war in Ukraine in the coming months due to poor training, loss of experienced air crews, and other problems. I think that's the most important, other problems. Now, when I say coming months, how many do you have in mind? 2? 12? Doesn't say. Due to poor training. What do you mean? Poor training, like they're not good pilots? They don't have a good flying school, or how do you call it? Training schools, or what? Loss of experienced air crews. I discussed the air crews here in Russia, and I discussed that if, according to the Ukrainians, about 300 or so airplanes were shut down. If I multiply it by 2, let's say 2 pilots each airplane, even though it's not 2, but some of them have 2 crews, 2 in a crew. So I would say, let's say 1.5. Okay, let's put it this way, 1.5 for 300. Okay, so there's what, 450 pilots. How many pilots do you think Russia has? All right, it lost 450. Remember, a pilot could be from about 22, or let's say 25 to be nice. Let's give it the pilot about at least 5 years of experience, to let's say 55, okay? 35, 45, 55, 30 years. So you have 30 years of worth of pilots. So let's say Russia brings up a year. How many pilots do you think that they bring? A new generation. Russia has a population of about 145 million people. Should we give them, let's say, 1,000? It's too much. Okay, 500. It's too much. Let's be idiots, or at least I would be an idiot and say 100, which is impossible. So if you have 100 Russian pilots each year in 30 years, is how much? 3,000? About 3,000, is it? So if it's about 3,000 pilots, they should have at least 3,000 if I gave you 100 for a population of 145, which is, I guarantee you, is about 800 a year. How many pilots are getting out? But I gave you 1, so I can make the point and say, see? Yeah, so 3,000, they should have 3,000 well-trained, the 100 are the experts, right? At least 3,000. Died how many? At the most, 450. So we have what? 2,000, whatever, 500 and or whatever. No, it's how many did I say? 450. Okay, so that means 2,550. 2,550, right? That's what it is. So that's how many more pilots Russia must have. Minimum of the impossible minimum. So, and those should be experts. 100 pilots, new pilots a year from a population like that. I gave you everything. So these guys are idiots, right? Or liars, or an idiot. But they're British intelligence. They said they have weapons of mass destruction. So what do you expect? And other problems. I would like to know the other problems, what they are talking about. Now, loss of experienced air crews. I think Russia has enough fuel to train its crew members, right? And they're not new in fighting. But anyway, according to Ukrinform, the UK Ministry of Defense said this in its latest intelligence update published on Twitter. Let's see. It is noted that on November 3rd, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Valery Zaluzny, stated that Russia has lost over twice the number of aircraft in Ukraine that in the Soviet-Afghan war. So this amounts to 278 aircraft lost in Ukraine compared to 119 in Afghanistan. So I gave you 300 killed, right? Or something like that. 300 I gave you. So they say 278. Probably are about 120, because you know this guy tries to overemphasize the losses of the enemy. So I gave you 300 instead of giving you 120 for the pilots killed, okay? And I gave you 1.5 men for a crew for an airplane. So I was so generous on your part, on your side, and I was so stingy on me. And I still have 2,550 pilots left. So blow me, all right? Not you. These guys with their and what does it mean? 119 in Afghanistan. So what? What does that prove? Did the Afghanis have had what you guys have? The systems you got right now? I don't think so. So I think you're a failure. You should have at least 1,500 Russian airplanes down by now. You compare yourself with the Afghans? Jesus Christ. So again, this works against your freaking statement and claim. And I'm quoting. Whilst we cannot independently verify these figures, of course you can't, Russia's continuous lack of air superiority is likely exacerbated by poor training, loss of experienced crews, and heightened risks of conducting close air support in air defense zones. In dense air defense zones. This is unlikely to change in the next few months, the report says. Don't say that, because that means Ukraine will not get airplanes, and they want them, and they will get them. So they want the West to give them aircraft. And if you tell them that the Russians are not having air superiority, that means why should we give you airplanes? So you have to say, no, the Russians are killing us, we're dead, oh my God, send us. And they say, yeah, see, the idiots in control of us will say, see, they need it. They get by the Russians over there. What are we gonna do? Let's send them some people. And we say, yeah, let's send them some. Jesus Christ. According to the ministry, Russia's aircraft losses likely significantly outstrip their capacity to manufacture new airframes. How many airplanes they have? About 2,000 before the war? At least 2,000. Last figures I checked, and I don't know if those are the official ones, but about 2,000 some airplanes. They say they destroyed what? 275, which I think is about 120 in reality. So they didn't kill it 5%. What the fuck are you talking about? Again, the time required for the training for completed competent pilots further reduces Russia's ability to regenerate combat air capabilities. They're not training new ones right now. They grab them from the street and they put them on a training plane and let them go. This has been for the last 30 years. As I said, they have trained pilots. They don't grab them right now. What are these guys talking about? They don't know anything. They do not know anything, but they expect us not to know anything. But you and I, we know shit. Okay? Just kidding. Let's go. As Ukrinform reported, the British intelligence earlier said that the Kremlin involved regional officials in the development of security measures in Russia's region regions in order to deflect public criticism away from the national leadership of the Russian Federation. All right, this little last paragraph, you can ignore it. I wasted your time. I apologize for that one, but I don't know. So don't give me this BS, all right, with not you, these mofos. Oh, they don't have pilots, they don't have airplanes. They had at least 2,000 before the war started. You didn't shoot down 275. I guarantee you. They didn't shoot 250, 275. Probably they shot about 120. That's how I guess, because I know from previous reports these guys multiply by 2 or 3. So if there was 100 people, they say they killed 300 people. But when it's about them, when it was, let's say, 100 people, Ukrainians killed, they would say there were 20 or something. So I got the proportion, okay? So anyway, don't believe, and this comes from what? The credible source of British intelligence. Did you find those weapons yet? No. Get to work. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.